Good evening, and welcome to the Danielle Speaks podcast. I'm so elated that you all are able to be with us on tonight. I do apologize for the delay on tonight. We had some technical difficulties, guys. So we had technical difficulties last week, but guess what? We are on. We are ready to go. And so I'm not going to prolong the time. Listen, let me share some things with you briefly before we get in because tonight is going to be a hot topic. I cannot wait because we're talking about from pain to purpose. And that's what we're going to deal with tonight. And this is going to start to propel us to our ultimate purpose from our pain, which is going to lead us into our destiny. So, what first thing I need you everyone to do is to like and share this podcast or this video. Like and share. Please go on and like and share, and also go to our YouTube page and subscribe now to our YouTube channel. We have several different channels out there, but please subscribe to the YouTube channel, like and share this post. And let me do some housekeeping right quickly. I'm going to go ahead and let you know again. We're always on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every 2 weeks. So our next time is February the 8th. I'm thinking about doing a little something different for the month of February. I will let you know in regards to that. That may deal also with the time, but I will let you know once I talk to my producer and to some of my family members because I'm going to need them with this. But definitely talking to the producer and find out what we can do because a lot of people are wanting to come in and share. Hey, Shalay, I see you, love you. They're wanting to come in, so I want to make sure that our time frame is conducive for everyone. Now, this is our 10th episode, and so we've been doing this for quite some time. And so I do go on and I ask you to put your notifications in and do your little bell thingies or whatever, mark your calendar. So hopefully you all will get those things marked. But February 8th is going to be our next episode during that time. So let me go ahead and solidify this. So February 8th, which is a Tuesday, we're going to come in at 6 p.m. and we're going to let you know of any changes that we're going to make if we're going to be making them. But we're going to go ahead and check some things out first. Okay. So we're going to do that. And then we'll move on from there. But tonight, we're going to be dealing with from pain to purpose. And for those of you that are familiar with even or remotely familiar with the topic, it does come partly from my book that I wrote, Shame is Not the Blame, How Overcoming Pain Leads to Purpose. So if you haven't gotten the book yet, I would implore you to please go out and make your purchases. You can make your purchase from our website, www.daniellerlee.com. That is www.daniellerlee.com. You can go to the website and make your purchase from there. Also, we are on Amazon. So you can go and get your books from Amazon. And we do have Amazon Kindle. I am working on the audiobooks right now. Yay. Y'all clap with me. Raise your hand, claps. Yay. Okay, great. Anyway, we're working on audiobooks as well right now, but just wanted to get those things out the way before we start talking. So let's go. Let's go. Let's dig in here. So we're going to be talking about from pain to purpose. And I'm going to go ahead now and bring in one of our guests. She's read the book. Y'all have seen her before on the podcast. And in different areas, not the podcast she's supposed to be talking on, but we jumped in on other podcasts because things were good and we wanted to continue talking and have conversation and converse about some of the topics that we've been dealing with. But she's going to come on because she's going to help drive some of the points home that we're going to be talking about today. So, Journey Christina, she's my niece.
Hi.
Hi. I know you all know her. She's my niece Journey, but she's gonna help with some of the things that we're gonna be talking about. Again, like and share this post. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please feel free to put those comments down in the comment section. We are YouTube live as well. So if you're on our YouTube channel, you can comment there. We will be able to see you from YouTube as well as from our Facebook channels. So just wanting to put that out there. If you do not want your questions or comments to be read or seen on the page, but you want me to discuss it, you can also inbox me on Facebook. So let's get started. So, pain from pain to purpose. So again, everybody or most people that have had my book, that they know that the book Shame is Not to Blame came from a lot of childhood pain, a lot of things that I dealt with in my childhood and in life. And so with dealing with that, I was led to actually write about the book or write the book Shame is Not to Blame, How Overcoming Pain Leads to Purpose. And as the book says in details from the back, the book talks about discovering how to overcome shame and guilt after painful experiences, how to turn your pain into purpose, how to confront difficult people and have difficult conversations with people because of some traumatic experience or something that happened. And so we're going to be discussing that. So I know, again, Journey, you did read the book, and I asked that if you had any questions that you wanted to ask, you can feel free to do so. So I'm going to let you ask your first question now, and then from there we'll get started because I have some things written down, but I
Mhm.
know you, so that means we gonna clash. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you ask your question because your question is probably going to deal with some things on my paper. So
Absolutely.
let's go. See, I know, I'm sure. So let's go ahead and I don't know how many questions that you really have because I know you, and when the table start, and I'm sure from questions that you have, you're gonna start talking Jesus, and
Mhm.
some more questions are gonna come up. So we're gonna just go that way, go from there. So, and again, if anybody is on there, you have questions, please feel to ask questions, comment, let us know if this is helping you, anything that's being shared is helping. Please let us know so we'll know how to move forward in these conversations that we have. So, all right, Journey Christina Abigail Williams, I said your whole name,
The whole government.
your whole
Okay.
government name. All right, you
All
can go
right.
ahead. Yes, ma'am.
So my first question was because of a quote that was in your book. So in the book, you said, I learned that in order to be fully restored, I couldn't stop at the trauma. So the first question is, what advice would you give to someone as it pertains to one, identifying trauma, two, acknowledging the trauma, and three, walking through the trauma?
Identifying trauma was
Hmm.
the first one. What advice would I give to somebody in regards to identifying the trauma that they have?
Yes.
Um, well that comes in several folds, I think, because that is one of the things that you have to do first in order to deal with. You got to not put away the situation or uh the trauma that you've gone through. You have to dig deep and try to restore yourself first. I think that's the main thing because a lot of times you don't know that you are actually in trauma, or you can't deal with it. You don't know that you're really in it because you might be a suppressor like myself.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that with myself with it, how I identified it and some of the things that made me really look to see, hey, that you had trauma is I saw a quote by Rebecca Solent some time ago. I think that's her name. And it made me take a deep pause. The quote is, and I'm going to read it because I don't remember it offhand. It said, pain serves a purpose. Without it, you are in danger. What you cannot feel, you cannot take care of. That was her quote that she said. And when I saw that quote again, that was some time ago, it made me start to think about who I am as a person and the traumas and the traumatic stuff that I had gone through. And I'm that person. If anybody that knows me, like for real, know me, like truly, truly know me, because you know people that say they know you, but they really don't have a clue, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
If you really know me, that you really know that I am truly an introvert.
Yes.
Like I am an introvert. Like there's no need to like, nah, for real. Like we don't even have a discussion about that because I am very introverted. But I've learned how to deal with it. I've learned how to mask it so well and by suppressing things. And most of the times in my suppressing those things, what I would say is when I got a pain or a situation that deals with a pain, I'll be like, well, whatever, I don't
Mm.
care. I can care less. Like those are the terms that I would use. And when I would use those terms, what it started doing is making me not be able to feel.
Mm.
I didn't want, hey Brenda, how you doing? I didn't want to feel the hurt. And so when I started saying those things, I didn't care because words make a difference in the things that you say.
Absolutely.
So as I start saying, I don't care, I could care less, whatever, I wasn't feeling anything. And then so that way I felt like I was fine.
Mm.
But if you look back at the quote that I stated when she said in the quote that um when without the pain that you're in danger,
Mhm.
and she says in there that what you cannot feel you cannot take care of. So
Yeah.
when I kept saying I don't care, whatever, and all of that stuff, because I wasn't feeling it, I actually thought I was good and I wasn't.
Mm.
So there you go with the question. I think that first question is how you deal with the trauma. So um I just I wasn't taking care of it. I wasn't taking care of the problem. I wasn't taking care of the root issue and the true cause of that burden or that pain. So therefore the suffering from the cause became great
Mhm.
and unbearable for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
And so because the suffering came became great and became unbearable, I didn't know what to do. I started caving. I started becoming depressed.
Mhm.
I just honestly at this point, I don't know how to deal with the trauma. But in order to deal with it, I had to then come to realize that with this pain that I was going through, there was a purpose tied to it. So
Absolutely.
I started praying about it. You know, it's like, praying. I don't know if you really want to say I was praying. I think I was just talking to God, which is
Mm.
prayer.
Yeah.
But I was talking to him and I was like, dude, like this is too much. I
Yeah.
hurt too much. And I didn't want to feel this way anymore. And so I had to push through it. But sometimes in pushing through it and realizing that there was purpose in the pain, I felt like it was so unbearable, like the reward wasn't worth it. So I know there
Mm.
was purpose on the end, but I didn't think that it was going to be rewarding. So
Okay.
realizing the purpose and pushing through the purpose was one of the things that I had to do. And that came with me, surrendering myself to myself and to say, you know, I really, really, really have to deal with it. And I'm not sure if I actually answered your question of the dealing with. Did I?
Right.
Did I?
Sorta. You
Sort of.
gave.
Okay.
Yeah. So wait, before we go to that, you just said you didn't feel like it was rewarding.
So
Would
when I
you say that that is because of a lack of trust? And would it be trust in your ability, trust in God's ability to move through you? Like what made you feel like that? Or an idea of being inadequate?
Yeah. So basically that.
Mhm.
So what when I said I didn't feel like it was going to be rewarding, so when I'm talking about realizing that I knew that the pain was tied into purpose,
Mhm.
but the efforts of trying to
Gotcha.
then push through the pain and the
Mhm.
efforts, I'm like, the
Is it worth
efforts
it?
doing that is not worth it. Like I didn't feel like
Yeah.
that was going to be rewarding. And two, one of the things and what the main purpose of that was because I literally felt as though I was inadequate. The
Yeah.
stuff that I went through, I literally did not feel that I was worthy.
Mhm.
The opportunities that would come forth for me even during that time of the traumatic pain and the things that I was feeling,
Mhm.
I pushed it away because I didn't want to deal. And so because
Mhm.
I didn't want to deal, like I said, it was just too unbearable. I just did not know what to do. So pain causes a tremendous amount of stress on
Right.
your mind and on your body and
Yeah.
in your spirit. And so if you can't conquer that, then that's when you have your major problems. I guess that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. Does that
Absolutely.
make sense? Now you had
Yeah.
another part to that question. I don't know if I answered that.
So I realized as I said it, the identifying the trauma and acknowledging sort of kind of go together. But the
Okay.
other part was walking through the trauma because we know you just
Ooh,
don't get over it.
no.
It's not something to, oh, what?
No, I'm saying no, you don't get over it. You don't just get over
No,
it. You
yeah.
don't. That's
Right.
the
It's
no. I'm
not
sorry.
something you can just gloss over. So
Right.
what was that process like, or what is that process like?
That process is it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that process is tough because again, you're thinking about the person that you are. So this it has to go into now forgiving yourself
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of the things that happen, knowing that some of the things that happen, if you will, because some things, you cause on yourself. So that's
Right.
that. You can't always say, "Oh, it was somebody else. Somebody else did this
Mm-hmm.
to me." Da 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 da.
Yeah.
No, because there are things that you actually cause on yourself as a person. You make good and bad decisions, and in some of the trauma that happened, I started making some bad decisions. So
Mm-hmm.
when I say bad decisions, i.e., in one setting, in that was talked about in the book,
Mm-hmm.
of the promiscuity
Yeah.
that happened when I dealt with the trauma of being raped.
Yeah.
Well, I went full fledged like, oh, that's all y'all want. So just I'm gonna go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and do this.
Yeah.
You ain't got to worry about asking me. We not gonna have to worry about that. I'm just gonna go ahead and do what I gotta do. We gonna go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and get this done because I am not gonna hear from you anything. You're not gonna belittle me. I'm not gonna feel unworthy and all of that stuff again. So all of
Mm-hmm.
this, you have to deal with that. So when you're walking through trying to get healed and getting through the pain, it's you must acknowledge it, that there's a problem that you have to deal with, and you must begin to heal your mind. You have to heal your
Mm-hmm.
body, you have to heal your spirit. So when I say that, with your mind, I was listening to Pastor Natay Jefferson today. He did a Facebook live, and he said, he was talking about the Clark sisters, not badly. Let me make sure I
Mm-hmm.
make say that, because he was saying like how how great they are, and he loves them, like they
Yeah.
sing well, blah 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 blah. And he was saying that one of the songs that they sing is the song "The Sky Is the Limit for What I Can Have." And
Mm-hmm.
he said, but he would like to say your mind is the limit. When he said it, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's so powerful for me, because if you think it, you
Yeah.
can achieve it, you can do it.
Absolutely.
And so I think that everything with healing of your body and your mind and your spirit, it starts with your mind, because you have
Yeah.
to get your mind right first.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get your mind out of the depressive state. You got to start talking to somebody that can help you deal with it if you can, because you
Yeah.
got to deal with yourself first. But I think that that walk was really that I had to deal with my mind. I had to get my mind right, because
Yeah.
in my mind, I was absolutely nothing. I was
Mm.
worthless, because those are things that I heard so much. And so
Right.
that pain just traveled with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so once
Yeah.
I got the clarity and I got in my mind that, started making those affirmations,
Mm-hmm.
that's, I think in the traffic in the chapter
It's
when I
in
was
that
talking
same
about,
chapter. Yeah.
it's in that chapter of overcoming, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I started making the affirmations and stopped looking at the I'm not worthy, I'm worthless, and started saying, I am special, I am
Yeah.
great, I can do all things through Christ. I can, just started doing those things. That's when I started to bloom. And when my mind started getting right, then my body the pain that caused me to be sick, the pains
Yeah.
that caused me to be weak, to want to be
Mhm.
lazy, to not want to do anything, the pain that caused me to act like an extrovert.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
like when I say act like, I'm
And
talking about
be
act like
extreme. I got you.
and be
Yeah.
extreme, right? So
Mhm.
that mean that all of that now, because now my body, because my mind started getting right, my body was like, "Yo, wait a minute,
Yeah.
like
You got to
I need
pull
to be,
back. Yeah.
yeah, I got to pull back. I got to match what my body's doing right now. Hey, my body's
Mhm.
saying something, so that's so that I know, right? That's extreme too. So that's what I had to start to do. So and
Yeah.
then once I got my body involved, because we were talking earlier, and I was talking to somebody else. It was on a we was on a call last night, and one of the things that was stated on that call was that um I can't pray unless I'm at peace. Like somebody was saying that when they said that,
Mhm.
it was like that if the so if I have an ought against my producer Bradley, if I
Uh-huh.
have an ought against him, and then somebody's telling me to pray, let's say pray with him, I'm about to pray with him. We had this
Right.
conversation, I think, 2 weeks ago. Don't tell me to hold hands and pray with him because I don't have peace with him. So if I
Right.
have peace in my mind, I can then and cause my spirit to start to act right too. When my body feels healthy, then my spirit can feel yes, Bradley, who you. So then cause my inner self, my
Yeah.
spirit man to actually want to be involved and say, hey, now, I'm
Yeah.
not saying I absolutely cannot pray,
Right.
but pray effectively to where literally what I'm saying when I'm conversing with the Lord, I'm praying with the Lord and conversing with Him and saying, God, I need you. God, I need you to
Yeah.
help me. I need you to deliver me here, da 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 da, and all this stuff. That my spirit is connection. Like now,
Right. Yeah.
I'm connecting with it. So all of
Absolutely.
that has to take place, and that's the kind of walk that has to happen. You have to walk purposefully,
Yeah.
relentlessly doing the walk.
Mhm.
Pastor Sim was talking, and he's teaching a series on purpose. And right now, and one of the things is purpose is a journey. But
Absolutely. Yep.
every time I hit a word journey, and when I'm writing the word journey, I write your name first.
Oh, I love that. I
It is
love
so dumb.
that.
No, it's I don't like that. It's crazy because it's so dumb. But purpose is a journey, and you have
Yeah.
to walk that journey. You have to walk
Mhm.
it out. And even if you don't have the road map, even I was talking yesterday again, GPS, like you don't have the GPS. God has the plan that He has for
Right.
you. If you're
Yeah.
doing purpose and you're following God, He has a plan. If you're doing the journey and you
Yeah.
walking it out, then it can actually come into play. So
Right.
yeah, I
So
think
that has to do with deciding that, I got to get my mind right and this is what I'm going to do. Like I had to take these steps to pursue my purpose and to be free. I totally understand that.
right,
And
right.
that is
Purpose is a journey. Somebody just
I love
purpose is
that.
a journey. That's funny.
I want to say
Yeah.
something about that. We can wait. But
Cause purpose is it because you got purpose journey. I felt that in my shando. Eh, ba, ba, ba. Yes.
I
Okay. I'm
can't.
sorry. I know,
But
right? Yes.
I get that. I understand that because it's a struggle to walk through trauma, to walk through pain, especially when you feel like you're making steps and then you have to relive something and then it feels like it pulls you back.
Let's
And
talk
then you
about
feel
that
like,
for a
here
split
I am
second.
again.
Right. So even with writing the book,
Yeah.
I had to relive some stuff
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
I've gone through counseling, and Kenny and I have gotten together and be like, okay, we are past a certain point when I
Hmm.
had to actually put some things on paper. And
Yeah.
when I put it down and I'm looking at it and I'm like,
You
oh,
see the
not
words. Yeah.
see the words, not just see the words, but tell the story. Because of course, I'm talking back and forth to editors and stuff, and and then I have to do it. And it was one time we were talking, and literally when we got to that section, where
Hmm.
that traumatic experience occurred, I had to. Now it's like, okay, I'm walking my purpose, and you get here, boom, yeah, but can you talk about this? Because you got to
Oh,
do this. And then when I
yeah.
got there, I was like, oh, and so we are talking about it, and I'm talking about it, and I'm talking about it like I'm talking to you. I'm talking about it, and I
Hmm.
took a breath when at the end it was like, and when
Hmm.
I paused, it everything started coming down like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
and I felt the
It hit
crash
you.
coming, yeah, and I felt
Hmm.
the crash,
Hmm.
and I was like, no, 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 please, this is not about to
You don't want
happen.
to go
She
back
was,
there.
I
Yeah.
didn't want to go back there. And she was like, all right, we're done. We're not going to talk again until you're ready to talk. You call me when you're ready.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when you're walking your purpose out, you're going to get to these hurdles. You're going to get to these spots to where you feel like the walls are caving in again. Is here we go. We're getting ready to crash. We're getting ready to crash. And you got to take a
Listen,
pause. You got to take a breath, because though you're walking it and you feel like you're at the wall, God's still there. He didn't
absolutely.
leave. He didn't go anywhere, you know. So now
Right.
you got to take a breath. You got to regroup and you got to go back and say, all right, oh, vertical. I need some more. Not that you're not vertical in the process, but it's like, here you go.
You got
I
to
need
remember.
this.
Yeah.
I need to remember that how did I got out of this to start with? How did I
Yeah.
start to get past this in the beginning? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's something else. I'm sorry. And I interrupted you and you were in that
No,
vein,
no,
but when
you're
you
good.
said that, I was just like, yeah, that makes sense right there, cuz I remember
Mm-hmm.
that part right there. So go.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
definitely understand that. And I just want to say, when you asked me to do this with you, I was like, oh, Lord, because I'm in the middle of my struggle right now. And
Listen.
I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. Because, of course, like we said, when you put words to something, it makes it real.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
my thing is, I can acknowledge it all day long in my head, but saying it out loud, oh, no, no, I don't want to do that. And
Mhm.
I was like, you know what? At this point, it's not about me,
Right.
because just as you have to tell your story to pursue your purpose and to do what God has placed on your life, everybody has to hear it. And it's bigger
Yes.
than us. And that is
Yes.
another thing that really, I guess, stuck out to me about your book. All of the stuff that you wrote about, the trauma, the pain, the hurt, it's bigger than you.
Right.
And okay, so that's the question I want to ask you. When you went to write your book, um, and you had to pull out of yourself and be like, "This is bigger than me." What obstacles did you face, um, just in general, like with yourself? Like, what did you tell yourself to try to say, "I don't want to do this though"? Like, did you
Everything.
try to talk yourself out of it?
Yes. I listen, I've been sitting on this book in particular for quite some time,
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of years. So I've had people say to me, "Oh, they hear God. You're supposed to be writing a book," and I'm like, "Girl,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't no author." Like, and I'm saying it that way because literally, even though Kenyatta Hodges told me years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was right after we lost Jaden,
Mm-hmm.
but somewhere in that time frame or a little after, he ministered to me and was like, "You got books." He said with
Mm-hmm.
an S, and he was like, "You got to write a book." And I just looked at him like, first of all, I don't like you right now. Transparency, I'm being real. I don't even think I was trying to talk to him at the moment. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like you. Be not writing no books. Like, go away. I heard him, but how I knew though that that was truth when
Mm-hmm.
it was said, it was because when right when Jaden died, like doing that whole traumatic experience, I
Yeah.
started writing. Like I started journaling my
Mm-hmm.
feelings at that moment of what happened.
Yeah.
The situation. He was supposedly died in my arms. He didn't. He lived for an hour and 40 minutes. They still had his
Mm-hmm.
body like this whole, and I was like, why God? Why God? You did this. Dang supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just gone. Boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. And I know he was up there going, well, I'm about to snatch her. And Jesus was like, no, wait. Like I'm telling you, Jesus is my listen, that like when I
Listen,
tell you I
he
know
got you.
God, Jesus got me on so many different occasions. Cause I know for a fact God be like that. I'm about to stand up and he be like, please sit down. I got wait,
Right.
let me intervene. Let me mediate this right here. Cause she crazy. We know she crazy. Just let me do this. So
I
um
can't.
so there were those times when I knew that it was supposed to happen. And so when people were telling me all the obstacles that
Mm-hmm.
I put in place for myself, number one, because okay, so I'm gonna go back to the words and stuff that I heard when I was younger. I was
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
I wasn't smart. I wasn't gonna be anything. I didn't finish college, so yeah, that was thrown in my face on numerous occasions.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I still get a whiff of it now. And I go, Yeah,
Jesus
whatever.
wept.
Jesus wept. So
Mm,
all of these things, and so then it's like, then so when I write a book, then my family is like, so this is what I was thinking they were gonna say. Not saying
mm-hmm.
they said this, but this is what I thought. What makes you qualified to write a book?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
qualifies you to try to tell somebody how to deal with pain, the purpose, or whatever,
mm-hmm.
whatever, life in general? Like
Yeah,
what qualifies you? You're sort of kind of like nobody.
yeah,
So, and that's what I was thinking was going to happen. So I literally like was like, I can't do it because boom, 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 boom. So I put all of those obstacles in my way.
mm-hmm.
And literally, I think as I stated in the book, I'm sitting on a chair and God was like, yo, he started talking. And I was like, who in here, and I started listening. And when he hit me with those questions, and when he started saying, like, are you ready? Do you trust me? All I need you to do is
Mm-hmm.
trust me. Like, forget
Yeah,
about what you think somebody else is going to say. Forget about your obstacles that's facing you. If you walk the journey, I got you. But do you trust me?
absolutely.
Do you believe that I can take you where you need to go? And
Yeah,
I can do it smoothly. You may face some things and it may look funky, it may look weird. It may look like you're supposed to go left. It may look like it's two lanes when it's really just one, and you have
mm-hmm.
to choose. I'm gonna guide you right, but do you trust me
Yeah,
enough to do it? And that's why I had to ultimately get to
mm-hmm.
that. Yeah, I trust you. I got we got
Mm-hmm.
this. We got this, Lord. You
Yeah,
take one step, I take one step, you take two. That's how that thing
yeah,
go. Ain't us. Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm gonna take that step, you take two. You know what? Forget about that. What a footprints thing, the footprints in the sand. Y'all walking together, all of a sudden you ain't see but one footprint, one set, and you
Right.
go, Lord, you left me. He was like, girl, I've been carrying you the whole time. That's why you only
Exactly.
see me. So that's why I had to get myself too. It was like I put all these things in place, and then the fear of
Mm-hmm.
doing it. So I don't think it was I was afraid to actually do the assignment. I
Mm-hmm.
think the fear more or less was, for me, are the people going to be ready for what they about to get?
Hmm.
Not an arrogance. So hear me when I
Right,
say
right,
that. It
right,
wasn't an arrogance level, but going back again, who am I?
right.
Look how I look. This, that, and
Yeah,
all of those other little things that were being said. And so now when it comes from this vessel
right.
that was molded
Because
and
people know
shaped
you.
and because people
Yeah.
quote on, yeah, because people know me, when it comes from this vessel, then how is that going to work out? So I wasn't sure
Mm-hmm.
if I, was going to be able to handle that. There was a question that I saw um that says, what happens when your purpose hits a hurdle and others say, just get over it? Ooh, ooh. Oftentimes, people want you to move past the pain and not allow you time to deal with it. Sis,
Mm.
Miss Christine, Dr. Christine Singleton, listen, sis, that right there in itself is major. Because there are a lot of times, um, I'm gonna give you a prime example that I think this came from family too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when I lost my son, Jaden, that I had to give birth to. I had to go through the whole birthing process,
Yeah.
and not knowing anything about how anything was going to happen. The doctor was trying to explain, you know, she didn't know how the baby was going to come out, and
Yeah.
she went to the extreme, because with situations that was going on, the baby could have broken, if you
Mm.
will. So
Mm-hmm.
all of that was going on. And I was just
Yeah.
like, and I'm being strong because, I don't cry. Right. So I was just like, I was being a G.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so I know, right? So all of that happened. I went through the whole process. I went through the delivery. My baby came out fine. Heart rate and
Mm-hmm.
everything was going on, but the lungs were just too small. So
Yeah.
that's what he succumbed to, because he couldn't breathe. So then now, so I didn't birth the whole baby. He was small, but he
Mm-hmm.
was a whole baby. I birthed the whole baby. And I was working with some family members, and literally that next day, I had the baby on that Saturday. That Monday, my family members were calling me to ask me why I wasn't at work.
Don't know.
Hurdle, hurdle.
Wait a
This
minute.
purpose hit a
Wait a
whole,
minute.
Christine, that was a hurdle.
Who
And
these
then
people?
and so hushed up. And so it was why I wasn't at work. And I was like, the first thing was you didn't even call to ask me if I was okay because you knew
Exactly.
what just happened. So there was no concern about me, my well-being, my mental state, my physical state. There was none of that.
But
The
you know
all of
what?
that. Yes, but what? What?
I know I cut you off, but
No
you
good
know
because
what
I
I
need to take
just
a drink. And
remembered?
he's and my producer fussing at me because I'm drinking. He about to take me off camera. Go ahead. See,
My thing is this.
he took me off. This is not
People do
professional.
not have concern about what does not directly affect them.
Hmm.
And so when your purpose hits a hurdle and somebody says get over it, it is literally because they not in your shoes.
They not
They're
in my
not the
shoes.
ones experiencing it.
And not
It
only
doesn't
that,
matter to them.
it doesn't matter to them. It didn't matter to them because for them, business was business. Let's go. Like
Hmm.
we gotta work. The stuff that I heard, and I'm not gonna go into so much detail of some of the things that
Yeah.
was said during that time. But one thing, Christine, that was said for that was get over it. You'll be all right. Get over it. And the pain was severe. There was no, I had him on a Saturday and this was Monday morning and it was get over it. I did not have any time to think about my
Grieving.
son. There
Yeah.
was no grieving time. So what happens when what happens is, okay, I'm transparency. I you want to fight, you want to say some things that ain't godly, you want to um disown,
Hmm.
disassociate, like the whole nine. You then you have to then try to forgive and get
Ooh.
past it. And that's hard because how do you get over something like that? Now that's some people may be like, okay, that might be too more of an extreme for some people that haven't been in that situation or in those shoes. But that's almost like the best example I could give
Yeah.
for that question. How do you not feel for
Right.
someone to be able to say get over your
Yeah.
pain?
But I
You
think
have to
that
be able to breathe.
comes,
You have to be able
yeah,
to gather your thoughts. You have to be able to overcome it. You have to be able to experience. I didn't even experience
yeah,
the loss. So I
right,
didn't even experience that trauma yet. And it was even before the trauma even was experienced, it was like, all right, well, let's just roll with the punch. Let's go. You strong. You got this. What nigga? Negro.
right,
I'm
right,
like,
right,
it's like no. So yeah. So
yeah.
yeah,
But as far as like what happens, I think too, at that point, you have to pull back and be like, you know what you saying ain't godly. Get over this is not what God would tell me to do, especially if He put this purpose in my life. And
that's
you
good.
have to be like, I'm not going to let you talk down on what I know God has predestined for me.
Right.
And
Right.
there are sometimes you might have to step away from those relationships or those people because what they are feeding to you is not healthy.
Right.
And especially when you're in a purpose, in a maturation setting for the purpose, you can't intake everything. And
Right.
when those red flags come up, when people say get over it, those triggering words, you got to chuck the deuces. Like you gotta go
You gotta go. And you better
expeditiously,
and expeditiously move before something happened in the flesh
quickly.
that
Right.
shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
And I
you have
wish
to
people
shut that down.
would really be real and not be so churchy all the time and act like, there is no part that your body or your flesh, your man, your that part of you
Hmm.
doesn't want to, let's get toxicity, absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. And toxic does not live anywhere with Danielle any longer. I don't care if you my mama, you my daddy, my sister, my brother, my cousin, my aunt, my grandmama, my whoever, my best friend, my dog, my what.
Talk
Toxic, it
about
doesn't,
it.
it does not matter, because toxic is toxic.
That's
And you
right.
cannot have relationship with toxic. It will literally kill you. And that is one of
Listen.
the things that I've had to learn. Like these sicknesses and stuff. I was I don't know. I can't remember who I was talking to. So I ain't gonna say I was talking to somebody. I was talking to somebody. It wasn't myself, but I can't remember who I was talking to. And we were talking about all of the stuff that they were dealing with, and they were just going through, and they were just telling me all of this stuff. And I'm listening to them, but I'm listening to the feedback. Like they were sick with XYZ. There it go. XYZ counts. They
Hmm.
were sick they were sick with XYZ
Two
or
times.
whatever, but two times. But then it came through to where they started telling me about all of the toxic relationships. He put two times
Mm.
in there. All of the toxic relationships that were involved with it.
Yeah.
So I started listening, and I was like, well, when you get over this, when you let this go, that
Hmm.
stress, those stressors and that burden that you're putting on yourself that you don't have to deal with, that you don't have to
Right.
carry.
Yeah.
There's something in the nursing home or in hospital care called respite care.
Hmm.
And respite care is when you are the caregiver for someone else that is really in need of the care that you're giving,
Hmm.
but you can get burnt out.
Yeah.
And if you get to the point where you're burnt out or about to burn out, then you can put up your card and say, hey, I need respite care. I need a
Right.
break. I need to go and I need to now drain. I need to relieve myself. I need to go and get me some R&R. I need to go to the
Yeah.
spa. I need a massage. I need
You
to
need to
go
pull
to the
back. Yeah.
mountains. I need to pull back. I need to go and lay on the beach for a second.
Hmm.
I need to do whatever, because if you stay there a lot of times, and this is documented. I'm not a doctor, but I worked in the nursing home facilities and assisted living, and as an executive director, we had to go to these training classes and stuff, so they give us some information that sometimes we don't
Hmm.
even want. And one of the things that they say about this, though, with respite care, is the person that's giving the care will die before the person that they are caring for,
Listen.
because they don't take time to refresh themselves. They don't
Listen.
remove themselves from toxic. So I'm telling this person, you need to move. You need to remove yourself from this. You might start feeling better, child. You might
Exactly.
and literally when they started relieving themselves from toxicity, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
say that word like 50 more times a night. Let me pull back from
Yeah.
that.
It's okay.
But I know, right? But before they let go of the people that were in their lives that were draining them,
Hmm.
Bishop Patterson, and I put this on the page, my Facebook page, like 2 days ago. He did I don't know what the subject of his sermon was about, because this was just a snippet, but in the snippet
Hmm.
of the sermon, he was talking about dreamers and your purpose and the things that you're supposed to be doing, and sharing your dreams and sharing your purpose and sharing your thoughts and whatever else have you with certain individuals. And he said, and you want to go and you want to pray, and instead of praying for yourself, then you say, I want my best friend, or I want my mama, or whoever, I want you to pray for
Yeah.
me. And he said, these people that you think are praying for you, PRAYING, they're not praying
Dude,
for you, but they're praying,
praying.
PREYING,
Listen.
on you. And
Listen.
girl, that blew me away. And I said again, I put up there, my tribe is changing. Thank you for that word, Pastor Sim. My tribe is changing. I'm not dealing with it anymore.
Right.
When
And
I
that is
notice that
okay.
and it's okay. It's okay not
Yeah.
to be prayed on. Stop
Absolutely.
telling your dreams. Stop telling your story to people. Stop sharing all of that stuff
Exactly.
to people that's going to pull you back from your purpose. Because I'm telling you, and even though all of this was painful, it was so worth it.
Hmm.
I used to be like, why, God? Why? Why am I going through all of this? Why are you having me go through all of this? this trauma. Like, listen, if you didn't have, don't have the book, get the book. You see some of the trauma I went through, and
Yeah.
that's not even half. That's just a snippet of some stuff that I can share. Just wait. But anyway, why, God, did I have to deal with so much?
Yeah.
Because that purpose is part of, guess what? My calling. What is your call?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
9 times, 12 times out of 10, it's tied to your purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't add
Absolutely.
up. I know. 12 times out of 10, it doesn't add
Yeah,
up.
it's okay.
But it is tied to the purpose. It is tied to what you're doing. And sometimes I'm gonna share this, and this is another nugget I got from Pastor Sim in his purpose series that he's doing. This is my example though of what I got
Mm-hmm.
from him. I went to hair school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a tomboy at heart.
Hmm.
I don't care to have on makeup and to be fixing my hair. No, 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 no. See. That's what you don't know about me, ain't it? I got you. I don't care for that. If you, for who I really, really am, seriously, I'm the tomboy type. Now,
Okay.
I
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
I'm I grew up putting bricks on people's houses and going with my daddy and digging
I know.
foundations. So that's what I like to do. I like cutting the grass. I like going
Bless your
outside and
heart.
doing this stuff. Girl, I love that kind of stuff. So that's me, right? That's me
Mm-hmm.
all in everything. And so this is the kind of stuff that I want to do. And I'm going to cosmetology school for what?
Right. Because that don't add up.
That don't add up. I had a stylist when I was in Columbia actually say to me, like, she said, thank you, thank you, John. You know me from school. That's right. I have transformed. I am telling the truth, right? So she would do my hair. I would always be asking questions, and I didn't even know that this was tied to my purpose. Sitting in her chair, and she's asking me all of these questions, or I'm asking her all of these questions about hair.
Mm-hmm.
She's answering me, and it was going back and forth, back and forth. And finally, she
Mm-hmm.
says, "Why don't you go to hair school?" I was like, "That's too prissy. I
Oh.
didn't want to do that." Oh, I said that. I was like, that's a girly thing. Girl, I'm not that way. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to do anything that has to do with being prissy cute. Like, all of that was part
Mm-hmm.
of that. No, that's not me.
Yeah.
Not going to do it. Fast forward years later, like 20 years later, I think from that time,
Wow.
I'm in cosmetology school. Number one, I couldn't even do cornrows. The first
Oh.
thing they asked was to do cornrows. I called my mama because, well, first I prayed. I said, Lord, if I'm supposed to be in school, you need to tell me how to do these cornrows because they're gonna kick me out.
Listen.
Like, that's what my thing was, right? Anyway, long story short, the Lord answered. I did the cornrows because I was supposed to be in school because I was gonna leave. I was like, if I
Mm-hmm.
can't cornrow, and that's the first thing, and that's the assignment, and we got to do it right. Oh Lord, help me with the assignment. So he did. I called my mom. I
Mm-hmm.
told her I knew how to cornrow. My mama said that ain't true. So I actually
Oh.
got the dog because anytime I did something, I had her cornrow for me.
Uh-huh.
I would say, "Mama, do it for me so I can do whatever, whatever." And so I literally would like videotape like me cornrow, and she said, "Oh, like you can do it." That was my first time of me going into purpose, and I'm like, "But
Yeah.
this is not. This is
You
school
don't
was
match up.
painful,
Yeah.
and guess what? And it was
Mm-hmm.
painful. It came easy for me. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, but the pain of going through the school, I got pregnant with Reagan. I was having issues with that, and I was like, oh my Lord. Then it was like them people were trying to push me out of school. Like, they found when I say push me, not in a negative way, but because of stuff that was going on, they were like, we gotta hurry get you out. So they were making
Mm-hmm.
sure that I was getting my hours. They were like, it was just crazy. And I was just sitting there like,
Yeah.
Lord, what is going on? So I'm supposed to be doing hair. Okay, so I'm doing hair. That's not my purpose.
No.
My purpose ain't doing hair. My purpose is this platform. But
Right.
it tied in order
Through
to get
ministry. Yeah.
the ministry part of it. People coming in my chair, they're sitting in my chair, start sobbing and crying. And I'm like, what is this about?
Mm-hmm.
Ministry started happening in my chair. And I was
Yeah.
like, what is going on? My platform started happening right then. My call,
Mm-hmm.
marketplace ministry, was
Yeah.
what it was. And it happened it wasn't about the hair. I could do the hair, but the assignment, the call
Yeah.
isn't about the hair.
Right.
The purpose. isn't about the
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
you gotta learn what your purpose is. You gotta know what you're supposed to be doing, and then you gotta walk it
Yeah.
out. You gotta take the journey. You got your purpose.
Yeah.
Gotta move. You gotta be
Mm-hmm.
moving. You can't be
Right.
stagnant and chilling.
Right.
You gotta walk
Absolutely.
this thing. Okay, I'm done. I'm talking too much.
No, no, yeah, you making great points though. That is really the truth. So I want to shift back to the book.
Okay, shift.
Um, so in your book, you mentioned, well, so you said that you had a I got this mentality. So I want to ask for someone with an I got this mentality, what was your biggest challenge when you decided to accept the call that God has on your life? And then how important is submission and acceptance? And what processes did you have to take to be successful in those areas?
My
That's
biggest
a lot.
challenge. That's a lot. So let me see if I can get this one. My biggest challenge from the I got this mentality, and I'm still dealing with this,
Mm-hmm.
is to relinquish the I
Mm,
got this. I had to learn how to relinquish the control
yeah.
because of the traumatic experiences and the stuff that I went through, and always having to fix it.
Yep.
I'm the fixer. I'm the one that everybody called for. I'm the ride or die. So because
Mm-hmm.
I'm that chick, right? I'm that
Mm-hmm.
person from family on out through like life. That's what I was doing, and that's what I had to do in my mind. I had to relinquish the whole I got this um I got that, John. I'm gonna deal with that in a minute. So I had to relinquish. I had to relinquish that control aspect of me, that part that wanted to say I need to be involved.
Mm,
So when I started walking the purpose, and God said, "This is what you do." Oh, I'm about to tell another thing. When I went and out there and got this 2,800 square foot spot for my salon,
mm-hmm.
because it was beautiful. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. I clearly heard God said when I was passing the sign, call him about a spot over there.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it. Like, this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to call.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So when I called, the person that I was supposed to get in touch with, I gave them my number, left the number because the person wasn't available, da 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 da. And I got frustrated because that
Mm-hmm.
person wasn't available, da 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 da. Like, so I was trying making it happen, making it happen. And I was just like, and here I go. You hear me, right? Now
Yeah.
I'm making it happen.
You're
I'm
doing too
making it happen.
much.
Doing too much.
Right.
Now I got the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Soon as I get in the spot, I found out I was pregnant with my son.
Mm-hmm.
Did I have the means to be able to keep the spot? I could have. But then when your doctor said you got to be on bed rest for 6 months,
Listen,
who,
you ain't got no more control over that.
I don't have control. Who working? Because I'm building. So
Uh-huh.
now I'm trying to build the spot. Ain't nobody, I can't pay the bill if I ain't in there working. So
Yeah.
now I'm about to start pulling money out the house. That was not the plan. Like,
Yeah.
we had
No.
already mapped this thing out. I wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to take no funds out of our household
Mm-hmm.
account, our monies. That wasn't supposed to happen. And so now I done got, the furniture and all of that stuff in there. It looked so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord made a way for me to have that done. Blessed Savior. And everything looks nice, everything looks right, everything looks pretty, and all of a sudden things start to do a downward spiral, like
Yeah.
fast. Ooh, and I was like, whoa, whoa, wait. So now here you go. I ain't went to God.
Mm.
I gotta fix
Mistake number
this.
one.
Mistake number one. Now I'm fixing it. I gotta make this happen.
Mm.
I gotta, okay, if I do this, or maybe if I do this, or let me call this, or let me do da da da. So now I'm piecing it together. I'm Kenny, how we
Mm.
gonna do this? He helping me piecing together. So we doing it. We like piecing it together. And I think God finally was like, all right, well, since you're not trying to even consult with me, I think one time I said, Lord, help me. And he probably went like, oh, she said my name. Like, she did call me. And I went
Wow.
right back to it because sometimes we talk to
Listen.
God and we ask God to do something, and because he don't move in the timing that we want him to move, then we just keep going,
Listen.
doing too much. So I just kept
Right.
going.
Mm.
kept going, kept going. And as I continued to go, it crashed and burned. The next thing I know, I got a U-Haul taking my stuff out the building because everything is closing
Wow.
and my stuff in
Yeah.
the storage.
Yeah.
And I'm back at square one where I started from. And I was
Wow.
like, this ain't right. I know I heard you say to call this lady. Why would you do this? Now I'm questioning him. Why would you do this? Like
Mm.
you can't tell me. I didn't tell listen to me. I didn't tell people you told me to get this building. Cause there
Not
were
you trying
people,
to talk to God
oh
like
girl,
that.
I was girl, I was about to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew his leg was starting to walk when I did that one.
Right.
Did my mama say I did overnight? I sure did overnight. Took all of the stuff out the bill. I had
I
some help
remember
with some
that
friends.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. And it was crazy because so I'm now asking him like what you told me to do this. And I don't tell
Mm.
people you told me to do this. I don't look bad. I'm good. This your fault, Lord. I
You said
I
all
mean,
that. Oh.
your auntie, I thank God for Jesus. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I thank God for Jesus because if it don't be for him,
God should have gathered you.
girl, all the way up. And I would
Right.
not have liked that gathering. Okay. Thank you, Pastor Felder. You've been there. So I ain't by myself. I would not have liked that gathering, but I
Yeah.
did all of that. And I was in a service and the lady was preaching, blah, blah, blah. Afterwards, offering. I walked up to her and she said, no, wait, two services. The first service, me and some friends, we went to Columbia. I know this is
Mhm.
long, but I think this might help somebody. We went to Columbia and we was sat in the service. Everything had just transpired, right?
Mhm.
And the lady was ministering, and I'm responding because I'm a responder. So I'm like,
Mm.
yes, hallelujah. And she was like, you talking a bit much. Like for real. She didn't say that just like that, but that's what she said. Girl, you loud. Like you talking to like who is you type thing.
Right.
And I was like, I'm answering it. I'm with you. It was like, yep, we gonna do this. Like, and I'm with you. And so she started conversing with me and started ministering to me. And let me tell you something.
Mm.
When she started talking, I was like, were you in my salon? Were you
Wow.
listening to me when me and God was having this conversation? No, 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 we weren't having a conversation. I was just talking and fussing.
Mhm.
Were you listening to me? And she was giving me the whole gusto. And then she started telling me what was in my hands. She started calling out stuff. And my friends that knew the story was sitting there
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
they
Yeah.
were like,
Yeah.
oh, like, oh, this lady didn't know me from Adam Eve to Salt. And then she
Mm.
brought me up front again for something else. And it was like, well, we were back behind back, like, man, that right there. Like that right there. And so I
Mhm.
talked to her later on. So fast forward to the different service. This lady says to me, I just want to tell you what God just told me. He said, I did tell you to go and do what you did. Now, this is like maybe a year later. And
Wow.
when she said it, I knew exactly what she was talking about because this is what I was talking to him about, among some other things. And she said, among some other things. I
Mm.
said, oh, you telling me. She said, I told you what to do. I
Mm.
did tell you that that's what you were supposed to do. She said, but you moved too fast. I didn't
Listen.
tell you to do it. Stop jumping ahead of the game. Like
Come
she was
on.
boom, boom. And I was just like, and then she started revealing or saying some things that God was telling her. Now this is what's getting ready to happen. Now this is what's getting ready to happen. Now
Cause
this,
you
and
jumped
I
the
was just
gun.
because I jumped the gun, and she was like, boom, 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 and she said, and everything that was taken, oh, you getting it back.
Mhm.
So now every time I pass by that spot, I said, that's
Yeah.
I go, that's mine, because I'm getting it back. Because
Yeah.
I kept jumping the gun. I kept
Yeah.
doing it. And then things she started, and I got confused on something. I said, I gotta ask her a question. And I went to her and she said, good, I'm glad you asked. And she said, again, in due time, because guess what? I wanted to ask her a question. You want me to tell you why I want to ask her a question? Because I was already ready to jump again,
Yeah.
ready to go. Because God
Yep.
said it. Slow down, child. Learn to
Right.
digress and breathe. So stop trying to be in control of everything. Stop
Yeah.
trying to jump the gun. If he says something, when he said something, I had to learn to just pause and take a break, fold my hand up,
Mhm.
like, okay, God, I'm and I'm like
Take your
this.
hands off of it. Yeah.
I'm listening, I'm waiting. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, I ain't gonna act like I ain't saying, oh, you taking a little long, but I'm with you. So I had to take my hand off. I had to learn to
Yeah.
do that. That's the first part of your question. What that other one was?
So
That
going
sounds
in
bad.
line
I'm
with
sorry.
this same part, but just asking how important is submission and acceptance, and then what processes did you have to take to be successful in those areas?
Say that one more time. I was listening. I was listening. Go
I
ahead.
got you.
Say it one
You
more time.
good. How important is submission and acceptance, and what processes did you have to take to be successful in those areas?
How important it is
Is submission
submission
and
from it
acceptance.
and accepting how important it is, both of them. How important are both of them?
Yes.
And then what? And then what? The what?
What processes did you take to be successful in those areas?
It is very important to be submissive. It is very important to be accept what God
Mhm.
allows and accept what God says in the time of what he says, knowing, as Pastor Felder had up there, knowing the difference between what he said and what he is saying. So
Yes.
that was the first that, and I'm glad he put that up there because that was the first thing
Yeah.
I had to learn that difference in
Yeah.
itself. But then when I did submit to the fact of I couldn't do it because again, I had so much control all my life of being
Yeah.
able to be the one to be in control. It's like, okay, I gotta relent. That's in marriage too, by the way. This ain't just,
Mhm.
for because I'm talking about work stuff right now, but this is throughout the whole life process and throughout even marriage. Like I had to learn to submit to my husband
Mhm.
because I was in control. If anything happened, I was the first line of defense or of offense,
Mhm.
defense and offense. That's what I'm trying to
Mhm.
say. I'm be the one. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And so it's
Mhm.
important to learn to submit because when you learn to submit and accept what he's saying and accept what God is allowing at the time,
Mhm.
you won't have to go through so much trauma.
Yeah.
Or if I can not say go through so much trauma, because we're talking about from pain to purpose, but when you're walking the purpose, you don't have to slip back into where it's can be a
Yeah.
traumatic thing or where
Or
pain will
reliving that
start to
trauma.
happen or reliving it. Like if you learn
Yeah.
to accept it and submit and just
Mhm.
do what he says, when he says, and wait on him in his time,
Yeah.
like it that is major.
Yeah.
So it is very important, and I would tell anybody and everybody, submit first.
Mhm.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Like you got to. You said another part. What was the other part of that in the something?
Oh, what processes did you take
The
to be
processes.
successful? Yeah.
That journey, that honestly I'm still taking process. I'm still
Yeah.
learning that as I go, to be honest with you. It
Mhm.
took time. The process I took was doing it the first time.
Mhm.
And as much as I wanted to actually deal with the situation, I
Yeah.
waited and I sat there and I just was like, I like sitting on my hands. I was just like, no, no,
Yeah.
you can't do it. You can't do it. Every time I opened my mouth to
Mhm.
say something in regards to it, I would be like,
Mhm. You had to
and
catch
so
yourself.
I
Yeah.
had to catch myself. And so that was the process. The process was doing it one time and then repeating it,
Yeah.
doing it. You say people say when you do something 21
Make
times,
it a habit.
make it a habit. So
Mhm.
that's what it was for me. That was my process. I had to learn how to make it a habitual thing to
Mhm.
when it was time for me to, I'm going to go ahead and get it done. Pump your brakes. Like
Yeah.
I live and did it cause issues for me?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I say issues for me, because I felt then some of the times almost as if to say, if you had just let me do it, not to the
Mm.
individual, not to God, but just in general, I was saying it.
Yeah.
Well, if I had done it, then it wouldn't have taken so long, or I probably wouldn't have had to go through this in order for
Yeah.
this to happen, and da da da. So that's what I was doing. But here's the thing with that: when I didn't do it, and though I had to do a detour,
Mhm.
though I had to go around the mulberry bush,
Yeah.
though I had to go around it instead of jumping over it because it was short, though I had to
Mhm.
make that curve and go around it, that arounding process, it was slower. But some of the things that
Mhm.
happened in that slow stance was
Yeah.
a whole blessing.
Yeah.
Had I jumped over the bush,
Mhm.
I would not have seen the gator that was sitting on the other side to
Listen.
snap my doggone leg off.
Listen. Patience. Yeah.
Patience. So because I went around it and I peeked around the corner, I said, "Oh, there's a gator right there. I can't do that. And I can't outrun that joker either unless I run zigzag." All of
Yeah.
it, because that's what they say.
Just
If you
thinking
run
through it.
zigzag,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
thinking through it. Um, um, so when you're doing that, when I instead of jumping and I go around, then that made it feasible to
Mhm.
see then that the submittance and the
Mhm.
process of submitting actually works. That the
It's worth it.
process
Yeah.
of, yeah, that it's worth it. There you go. That pain, it may be painful, it
Mhm.
may cause some issues, but it is definitely worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what I did for myself. It was just basically, it was literally, I just had to start doing it. Like, do one,
Yeah.
breathe it out, and don't make any mistake by saying, by me, get that together. Let me not make a mistake and say that
Uh huh.
there were no times that during the process of me waiting those times that I didn't mess up
Yeah.
and start to do something. Cause
Yeah.
because we
Because you're
need to
human,
learn
and that's
patience.
your
And we're
nature.
human. And we're human. And human nature, and we're human. So yeah, that human part of me was like, let me
Right.
okay, I'm not gonna do it, but I'm gonna assist right here.
Just a little bit.
Just a little
Just
ting ting.
yeah. Mhm.
Just a little ting ting. Let me do
Mhm.
that. And it was like, but if you still got your hand on it, like, what you
Right.
doing? Like,
Yeah.
can you just trust me? That goes all the way back to when I used to go to the altar. I'm an altar goer tour. I
Right.
don't mind going to the altar. Because there's some things that need to be altered in my
Yeah.
life. And so if I
Cool.
feel like there's a problem to go, then I go. And that's just
Yeah.
that's just me, right?
Mhm.
So I go, and I will say, I don't just run to everybody altar, because I ain't just going to everybody one now. I'm just saying.
Right.
But when
Right.
I go, I go. And some people say, "Oh, you out there again? You need to be up here with me." Um, but at any rate, you go to I'm a go to yes, I'll go to. So even with going to the altar, I used to go, and Pastor Johnny Prudel, I love that man.
Yes.
Pastor JP. So I'm at the altar, and y'all know, so I'm picking at him because he's a pastor of my pastor, so that's still my pastor of my pastor. So pastor, he
Mhm.
my pastor. So he
Mhm.
got gigantic hands, y'all. I don't
Yeah.
know if y'all ever seen them hands he got. But Pastor
Yes.
Prilo has some hands. And so when you go to get prayed for, he don't try to push you down or nothing like that. But his
Hands grab
hand,
your
if it
whole
is
head.
in your whole hand, right? It's like he playing ball, and he can palm you. Like, he can
Yes.
literally pick you up like that, right? So anyway,
Uh-huh.
so he, have his, and he's praying. And every time I go, I'm like, this whole hand gonna come on my head again. And I would go, and he would just say, trust God. Like, I just hear
Yeah.
trust God. I'm like, surely the Lord give you
That's
more
it.
words than that. Like, I know God speaks to you.
Yeah.
Surely He told you to tell me something besides that, right? So, and every time I would go, when I felt the need to go,
Mhm.
He trust God. I'm like,
Yeah.
now what kind of carrying on is this? And I'm sitting there like, so one time I did go again, and when he was about to put his hand on my head, I said to myself, I did not say this, um, if you put your big old hands on me again and say, trust God, we getting ready to have a problem. I'm gonna take you in the office. Because that's where I was. Because I needed to hear, I wanted to hear from God. And I was
Anything
praying.
else?
I
Yeah.
would say this. I was praying, because some people think I don't pray. I was actually praying, and I needed to hear from God. And he was saying it. That's like the man that wouldn't get on the
Mhm.
doggone ship, and he drowned. And the Lord said, I done sent
Listen.
the ship, the airplane, all of that. And you kept saying the Lord gonna send something. Okay.
Listen.
So anyway, no, Kenny is second administrator, but you good. It's second, not first. But so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay. And he put his hand on my head again, and he go, I hear the Lord say, trust God. I'm like, man, I was mad. I ain't even going, I'm just being honest. I ain't doing this with him no more. I ain't coming
Yeah.
back to this altar. So we had a district meeting. And so we were at the district meeting, and Geneva Smalls, she was sitting there, and we were sitting there talking. And so she was like, how you doing? Whatever, whatever. And I said, yeah, I'm good. And she was like, well, that don't sound good. And so I started sharing my story. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
trust God. The people saying trust God and whatever. And I trust God. I mean, I do. Like it was like I do. And she said, she gave me a piece of paper. This ain't no paper. She gave me a piece of paper. She was like, here, take this from me.
Mm.
Took it from her. She said, give it back. Take it from me. Give it back. So now we playing it. And I was like, what are you doing? She was like, that's what you doing to God. You don't trust him. You trust him enough to give it to him because
Listen,
you know he can deal with it, but you keep taking it back. Why if you trust
that
him, stop taking it back. Girl, I say, evangelist missionary, you done helped me right then and there. That's good right there. So I had to tell JP, Pastor Johnny Prillo, I do the initials for my own benefits, but I had to, you know what, your hands was right. Like you, like those
your
massive hands are
hand.
right. You said it. That was right.
Yeah.
Trust God, and I got it because that's
Yeah.
the other thing is when you're in this journey, when you're walking this journey for your
Yeah.
purpose, when you're walking the purpose out, when you're dealing with it, you're going, it's the trust God part.
Yeah.
You're on the journey, you're on the right path, you're doing what God is saying to do. And when you hit the hurdle, when somebody said brush it off, keep it moving, and you know you need to take a pause, take your pause, but stay there, wait.
Yeah.
There's a waiting period. So you
Yeah.
sit in the gate. Oh, I just felt something. Calm down. You sit in the gate and you wait.
Yeah.
You wait on what God has to say.
Mm-hmm.
Don't move. You gave it to him. This your
Yeah.
baby. He said, I got you in your baby. I'm picking you up. Now I'm carrying you. Trust me in it. You trust me? I got you. All right, I trust you. Boom, let's go.
Yeah. Right.
Walk it out.
Yeah.
Wait on him. Trust him. Stop taking it back. And
Right.
so that's one of the things I had to do when I was dealing with the pain.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
giving
Stop
him my
taking that
pain.
pain back.
I'm
Yeah.
taking it back. Like I can't. So when I had to relive some things from this book, and I got upstairs when that night, I got upstairs and I'm laying there, and or Kenny was laying in the bed, and I got up there and he was in the bed. He was like already in the bed. And I laid in the bed. And when I laid in the bed, he was like, you good? Like cause he knew what I was going,
Mm-hmm.
what I just went through. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm good. And again, my body was already plummeting at the table when I was on the call with her talking. So I was already going down. And I got in the bed and I was laying there and I felt my body shaking. And I
Yeah.
felt myself going into this whole like, "Ah," like I
Mm-hmm.
can't believe this is what is happening right now. Oh my God. I can't believe this. And I had to go, whoo, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We don't live here anymore.
That's good.
I'm not having these dreams no more. I'm not about to have a nightmare about this because I just relived it. I'm not about to do this. I'm not. So I started talking and speaking. Oh, the devil is a lie. 'Cause, sometimes like we be talking about, the devil is, and sometimes the devil ain't got no part of what's going on. But at this one, I was
Exactly.
rebuking. Oh, no, 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 sir.
Right.
I'm not about to let me be succumb with fear. So you are a
Absolutely.
liar. You need to get out. And I found
Yeah.
myself start to calm. Like
Yeah.
that peace, God was like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
you trust me. Here we go, girl. That's how you supposed to do that. I got you.
Yeah.
And that whole layer of that sheet of peace, like when I fanned myself to go to sleep, it was like peace. Like it was
Yeah.
like for real. Like I
Yeah.
literally, it was like, girl, let me fan you.
This
Go
took
to
you
sleep.
over. Yeah.
It just took me over. And so that's what we need to do. That like we need
Mm-hmm.
to just wait it out. We need to walk it. It's gonna hurt. The pain is
Mm-hmm.
gonna hurt, but it's so worth it. And we just got to walk it out. We gotta trust
Yeah.
God and move. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
You gotta go. You gotta
Yeah.
bounce. We gotta shake. That
Yeah.
what that man what Shirley Caesar say, Pastor Shirley Caesar say, because I'm about to say what them churning say Journey don't like. My
Right.
my,
Yeah.
my
No,
child
please
and Journey
don't.
don't like that. It's like them churning say nothing.
Because nobody's
What
saying
Shirley Caesar
exactly.
said,
Right.
Pastor Shirley Caesar was talking about that donkey that fell in that well. And the man saw the donkey in the well. Lord have mercy, he could die because I can't get this donkey out the well. So I'm gonna just bury him. I'm gonna close
Mm,
up the well, the refreshing
mm,
springs, the
mm.
waters that flows out of the well. It get closed up with dirt because other people. Oh, okay, okay, shoo, breathe.
Stop it,
Ah,
because that's what I wanted to
okay.
say.
So let me talk about the donkey, then you can talk about the well, Jesus. But anyway, because other people, I gotta say it. Other
Hmm.
people will cover you, just start dumping dirt on you because you ain't worth it. You're no good now because you have fallen, right?
Listen,
So you ain't worth it. So let me go ahead and just bury this situation. I'm gonna bury you. I know we running
listen,
out of time. So let me go ahead and bury you right quickly because this you're no good to me now. Right?
because instead of trying to fix the issue, listen, just
Mm.
gloss over it.
Gloss
Ain't
over.
got
So
time to talk
because
about
now
that.
you're no good. So let me go ahead and let me just go ahead and just bury you. So now here go the dirt. Toop. And every
Mm,
time you getting dirt thrown and you feel it. You feel the hits, you feel the blows, and you sitting there going, Shirley said, shake it off. That donkey started shaking it off and packing it, shaking it off and
mm-hmm.
packing it. And the man kept on, he was like, well, I still see this donkey. I'm trying to
Listen,
bury it. I felt that right there. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm still trying to bury it. I'm still
yeah,
trying to bury her. And but she's still rising. Like, what is going
listen,
on? And
yeah,
so just like boom, you just throwing it, and you throwing, and it's I'm shaking, I'm packing. And you keep seeing the donkey kept rising to the top,
yeah.
kept coming
Resilience,
up.
yeah,
It kept coming up. And finally the donkey got up, said, and just got up and walked on out and was like, thanks,
yeah,
bro. Because sometimes you got to tell these people that dumping all this dirt on you, that throwing
yeah,
you aside, that you ain't
yeah,
nothing, that's
yeah.
gonna tell you just shake it
Get
off.
up,
You're gonna
yeah.
be all right. That's all right. You
Listen,
let it pile up and you just get up on top of it. You stay on top of it and you just
hmm,
until you just walk on out.
yeah, yeah,
Thank you for the dirt.
yeah.
Thank you for trying to bury me. Thank you for trying to cover up what I know God placed in me. Because
That's
by
good.
doing that, you let me walk. Oh, calm
Listen,
down.
and you put me where I was supposed to be.
Okay, go ahead where you supposed to be at. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Man,
I'm sorry.
I don't forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh,
That
I'm
was
so
good.
sorry.
That right there was good. I'm not.
But I'm
I don't
just
even think
saying
I have
though.
anything else to say. I'm not even gonna
Oh,
lie
but
to
you gotta
you.
rise up. And we had to, Selena. Yes, you gotta rise up.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. We gotta rise up. We at 117.
Oh Lord,
We gotta rise up. We gotta rise above it. And
yeah,
that's the other thing that happens even with pain and trauma.
yeah.
It's not easy to get through it,
No,
but you gotta rise above it. You gotta get to the place that you literally can put it under your feet and
yeah,
step on that thing and let it be a stepping stone for you to get up.
yeah,
There's some
absolutely.
things that can be going on like right now, like right now. And I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. Not I'm not dealing with it. I don't want to deal with the issue, the person, the situation,
Right,
not that kind. I'm not dealing with it, but I'm not, this is not where I am.
right.
I'm rising above this. I am going to be above.
I'm
Nothing is
above
going
this
to bring.
now.
I'm
Yes,
above. That's what that boy said. I'm above this now. Me,
it's
right?
above me now.
It's
I'm above
above
this
me.
now.
That's what I'm. It's above me. I'm above this. I'm
Yeah,
rising to the occasion because there is work to be done. We're trying to
absolutely.
win people, win kingdom people, like build the kingdom.
Yes,
We can't do that if we
carrying pain
and
and trauma.
carrying on.
Listen,
Because we can do some carrying ons and thing too.
come on now.
Oh, Jesus, Jesus. Yes,
Ain't got
yes.
time for that one, but
John, you got
yes.
something else you want to say? Because I need a drink and he ain't gonna let me drink on camera.
I don't have anything. Well, okay. I just the last thing I want to say, with of course, pursuing your purpose and going through pain to purpose, what is it that you do when you need to be delivered from yourself? When your mind tries to keep you stuck in that place and you know where you need to be, what do you do when you need to leave self out of it?
What do I do when I need to leave self out of it? When my mind is going to the place that is going to be detrimental to my purpose?
Yeah.
What do I need to do to leave self out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. What do that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think I'm saying that's a lot because though I think there's one major to do,
Mm-hmm.
here we go. Because the church folk gonna tell you to pray. Yes.
Right.
And you should, and you
Right.
should, and you should. So that
Right.
is a one thing factor. But I think for the certain situation, there could be different avenues that you take that goes along
Absolutely.
with that. So definitely praying. But I think for me, it depends on what that actual situation is or
Yeah.
that I have to do so I won't step in the wrong spot, walk the wrong path.
Yeah.
Right now, for me, in a situation, I'm I'm closed mouth now.
Hmm.
Like Danielle
Yeah.
ain't talking. Danielle don't need to talk right now.
Right. Right.
Because if I do, it could be more detrimental.
Yeah.
Not saying that I can't talk about it, but it's until here we go, heal yourself first. So
Hmm.
until for me in this area, until I'm totally like where I need to be, then
Hmm.
it's like, let's don't deal with that right quick. Like I'm
Right.
a
Yeah.
so I think that sort of kind of depends on praying though, because in the midst of all
Yeah.
of that, I am praying. But the actual outline of how to do it, um,
Hmm.
yeah. Um, yeah, man, it's a lot of prayer and continuing to work on yourself. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what it says. And then or what I'm saying. And then at the same time, whatever different situations may cause for different avenues of dealing with and how you would actually do that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's good.
that's good. So anything else? I am so happy about this conversation. Um
Hmm.
um you are so right. The church folk would tell you to pray, but what else though? And that's it. Like what else is it besides prayer?
Yeah.
Because you know, oh, Trona,
You
fam,
know, let
cousin,
me wait.
cousin,
Let me
cousin.
say
Go ahead.
something.
What?
Church folk forget that we are people first. We are human beings, mere mortals.
Mia, I'm
We
sorry.
ain't nothing but listen. We ain't nothing but dust and dirt.
We sort of talked
When you
about that
break it
last week.
down, you are
We
not equipped to carry all of this stuff.
right,
And
right.
when you have yourself, when you're trapped with your own self
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know literally where to go, sometimes praying don't even work. Because first of all, especially for me, I'm like, well, what do I say? Especially if I'm talking to God who already know the situation. You already know. I can't. I don't think I can explain it to you any other way that you would understand. And there are some times when you need to speak to another human who understands that human to human connection,
Right.
because when it all boils down, we all experience the same things different ways, and there are some times when we have to bounce off of each other to grow.
And I think too, because we talked about that a little bit last week, in a sense of
Hmm.
some of the church folk issue, and even where we as the persons would see situations that we Reggie said about divinity and
Yeah.
humanity, that we put church folk because we go to church for healings and this, like we were talking about last week.
Listen.
So we put the church folk in an area where they don't belong. They
Right.
ain't
Right.
divine, they ain't God. And
Right.
so they're human, as you said, we are human beings. Human beings. Um Kenny said, Jesus, 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 why you on your way to talk to someone?
Listen
You better believe that. You
quickly.
better believe that.
Oh
Because
yeah.
you can pray, but you better go talk to a therapist.
Go
Pray,
sit on
but you
somebody's
better go,
couch
to the doctor.
because I'm gonna
Pray,
go.
but listen, because I'm going. So there are, you have to do that. You have to be, and you're not, and in the church, again, the church, the people in the church, they're not divine. And that's
Absolutely.
what we look at. We look at the divinity of church folk
Yeah.
instead of looking at the humanity of who they are. We are
Right.
all human beings.
Yeah.
And as Reggie said, I said, and he mentioned it again, that what I said in regards to that whole situation, even in marriage, where you look at your husband or your spouse, and I clearly say, and I say this, and I know Kenny even on here, and I've said it to him, and he's said it in his presence before. I don't trust him.
Right.
I trust God. And if he is
Hmm.
following God and the God that's in him is who I trust, because
Yeah.
God is the divine being.
Right,
And
right.
so for me, for him to have me to trust him, he sure better be doing the right thing. He sure better be doing the godly things. You see what I'm
Okay.
going with that?
Yeah.
And that's how he wins. That's how humanity, that's
Right,
how
right.
he will win the trust.
Right,
But
right.
you got to be here first. And
Yeah,
so that's what
vertical.
we have to
Just
do
like
out that thing. And so Trona, you're right. Church folks will tell you to pray, and half of them ain't praying
listen, just
themselves.
hypocrites. Ooh.
I mean, I'm just saying, I got my eyes closed because I don't want to see nobody putting no church posts up here when I just said that. Because a half of the times we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing as a church, but you're going
Listen.
to tell somebody else. And this is why this is here. This is why this platform is here. This is why I feel led and called to do what I do, because of the fact that we need to reach outside these walls,
Yeah.
because people ain't coming in, because church folk. Nothing wrong
Cuz
with
it's not
church.
real.
Because they're not being real. The Bible says, "Don't forsake yourself of the assembling yourselves together," because you learn
Right?
and glean and you grow with each other. I am totally for that. I'm totally
Absolutely.
against the Bible, so I'm not disagreeing with it because it's the Bible. That's what the
Right.
word says. So the word says about church and going to church. I
Right.
ain't knocking church, but I'm knocking the foolishness that happens in some churches
Say
that will
that.
cause
Mhm.
people to stray from church and
Exactly.
lead them out of church, because we're not doing what we're supposed to do as believers. Cause I ain't about to say as
Listen.
church folk, and I'm not about to say as Christians, as
Right.
believers.
There's a
We need to step
difference.
up and
Yeah.
do what we're supposed to be doing. Girl, we talking.
Absolutely.
Listen, but this has blessed
Lord Jesus.
myself. This has
This is
blessed
long.
myself. Mm. But this was good. I said we wasn't gonna be on here as long as Reggie be on here, because Reggie talked a lot. But
Well,
I think we got him beat tonight. But this is good. One thing that I do want to share, and some of the things that we were talking about
mhm.
in regards to the whole um pain to purpose and dealing with it. How do you deal with it? What are we supposed to be doing to deal with it? All of those aspects and things, and some of the things that you asked in regards to of the how I learned to
Yeah.
deal with some things and all of that. Well, I have a how coming for y'all. And the how that's coming for y'all is going to be in drum roll. Y'all hear it? Oh, thank you. I was trying to do that in my next book. My next
Yeah.
book is about to drop soon. I'm gonna go ahead and give the title, so when y'all hear it, if y'all see somebody else say something about it, y'all know they took it. No, I'm just joking. But the title of the book is "Deliver Me from Me."
Good
That's
Lord.
that's that's what it is. "Deliver Me from Me" is the title of the book. And so that is that book is gonna whew, that that book is something else. That book is gonna share some things, guys. Um, Fashion your seatbelts.
Fashion?
Okay. Fashion. Did I say I didn't say fasten? See, these it's the braces. That's why I kept trying to
Sure.
drink some water. Sure, let's blame the braces.
Uh,
Fasten your
mhm.
seatbelts, because it's called "Deliver Me from Me," and it will be coming out soon. It's on the way. I'm telling y'all, it's on the way. So I will be letting you guys know when you can do your pre-orders and all of that stuff for that book. But that book is going to give more in-depth details in regards to the process that I went through, the pain, how to deal with it, how I
Mhm.
overcame it, all of that stuff. So that's going to be in that book. It's going to talk about the pain, the purpose. It's going to break it down, but it's going to start with that. Right? How I'm pointing at myself like this, y'all. That's funny. It's going to start here. It had to start here. Deliver me from me, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
times we be doing some things and we say, God, God, this, God, you, the
No,
devil, this,
it's
the devil.
me, oh
It's
Lord.
me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer.
Standing.
Okay. Yes. So just be on the lookout for it. I will again be letting you all know very, very soon when that book will drop, but it's Deliver Me from Me. And I'm telling you right now, it's a good one. I ain't trying to toot no horns, but I think it's a good one.
Toot
So
toot.
Two. So if you got shame the blame, shame the blame. Jesus. If you got shame is not the blame, how overcoming
Right.
pain leads to purpose. You do not want to not get deliver me from me. So it's gonna be out again soon. I can't wait until it drops because I am excited about it. I'm so excited about it. Again, February 2nd, February 8th is going to be our next podcast. Facebook Live broadcast is going to be February the 8th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At that time, if there are going to be any changes of anything during time when we do and whatever, I will definitely let you know during that time frame. Again, I have to talk to my producer and I have to, discuss some things. And I do want to share to find out from you all. So there will be some polling for that. But please like and share this video. I think this was well worth it. And also do not forget that if you want to be a blessing, that you can go to our Cash App and you can go ahead and Cash App Danielle Lee the brand. We do also have PayPal. I couldn't think of the word for it, but we do have PayPal, and the PayPal is actually the email address Danielle at daniellerlee.com. And so that would be that address. I do not have that up there, but Journey, if you can put that in the comment section, for the PayPal, if you want to be a blessing to this ministry, because this is a ministry. Again, if you want to be a blessing to the ministry via Cash App, you can do so. That is on the screen. And then you can also via PayPal, Danielle at daniellerlee.com. That is the email address for PayPal. And I look forward and love you all. Please, please, please share this video. I love you guys. Journey, thank you so much for
Of
always being
course.
so there when I need you. For those of you all that came on, I know I did not say hey to everyone, but I want to do that because I do not want to neglect the fact that you all take your time out or took your time out your busy schedules to come on here. Brenda came in, Brenda Hall's cousin. Thank you. Hey. J.R. Johnson, thank you for sharing with me tonight. Gary Lee, Roxanne, my classmate, thank you again for coming on. Dr. Christine Singleton, thank you so much for sharing. Always glad to see that you're sharing with me. My mom, Naomi, thank you for coming on. I would say Bradley, but you're the producer. My friend Sean from Columbia, thank you so much for coming in. John, as always, thank you so much for being with us on tonight. Cousin Jalen, thank you for coming in. Let's see. I saw Shirley family. Thank you so much for coming in. It was a pleasure to see you on here as well tonight. I did see Victor. I saw my cousin Victor on
Mhm.
here as well. Thank you so much for coming in on Victor. Let's see. Pastor Kelvin Felder, always thank you so very much for your time, your consideration of little old me. I do appreciate that. For your wisdom and for your marketplace ministries that you do on Mondays and Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. Thank you so much, sir, on Facebook. That's the Marketplace Ministries with his church. I love it. Thank you so much for that prayer time that you give unto us on those days. Krista Cooper, thank you, sweetheart. Love you, love you, love you. To my husband, Kenyatta Hodges, thank you so much for being on. That means Kennedy is listening at home. Kennedy, thank you so much for listening and sharing. That's my oldest. Love her so much. Micheline Barber, thank you so much for coming and joining with us on today as well. Aunt Lisa, thank you so much for being on here. Shalay was on here earlier. Selena, Nicole, thank you for being on here. What I think Shalay, yeah, Shalay was on here
Mhm.
earlier. I know she was. I think she was the
Yeah.
first one that said something. My sister
Yeah.
Shalay, thank you so much for being on here. Selena, thank you so much. Cousin Patrona, thank you. Cousin Sharon Jameson, thank you. Oh my goodness, I appreciate you guys for actually jumping on and sharing. Again, please, please, if I miss anybody, I'm sorry. Michelle Kitt, thank you so much for coming on. Class of 93. Whoop, whoop. That's right, Roxanne. Girl, you about to tell our age. Don't do
Hmm.
that. Stop it. Um, anyway, Kenny said she wasn't listening. You know what, Kenny? That you know what? Tell Kennedy I'm gonna get her. You are so I can't with you right now. Anyway, but you guys, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for sharing. I love you. Remember, subscribe to the YouTube page, our YouTube channel. I have all of the links up on here on the social media platforms. You can do our link tree. If you go on the link tree platform or you log in on Linktree, you will actually see all of the other links, and you will actually be able to then click on the links on Linktree. It will take you straight to the pages. So that will be easier probably for you. So if you want to go to the Linktree link, thank you, my dear, my producer Brad, woo woo, Bradley. His name is Bradley, not Brad. Thank you so much for putting that up there. So if you go to the Linktree um, site, you'll see all of the links on there. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like and share this video. I love you all so much. Thank you for letting me share my heart with you to the world. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, Danielle speaks.